If you feel exhausted but wired, if you wake up tired, if your patience is thin and your brain feels foggy, there is a good chance you are not lazy or unmotivated. Your stress biology is stuck in a loop. Hi, I am Dr. Shambhu Yadav, a neuroscientist and a stress biologist from Harvard Medical School. And today I want to explain the burnout through a neuroscience lens. Talk honestly about the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and then give you a simple, realistic protocol to start feeling like yourself again. So let's start with a big misunderstanding. Cortisol is not a villain hormone. This is useful hormone if it is in control. Cortisol is a normal, essential signal that helps you wake up, focus, regulate blood sugar, and respond to challenge. You actually need cortisol to function well. The real issue is not the having cortisol. The issue is when your stress systems loses flexibility, when it gets stuck in high alert mode, or when it becomes blunt, unresponsive after being overused. Burnout is often what happens when the body and brain have been pushing, compensating, and coping too long without true recovery. So let's break down what is happening in your brain. Actually, your stress system is basically a conversation between the brain and the body. When your brain detects that threat or overload, the hypothalamus sends signal that activate the HPA axis that lead cortisol release from the adrenal gland. At the same time, the sympathetic nervous systems ramp up. Heart rate increases, muscles tense, breath changes, your attention narrows. The brain starts prioritizing survival and speed over creativity and nouns. And this is great if you are avoiding an accident or tiger which coming towards you. But if your threat is non-stop email, financial pressure, a difficult boss, family responsibilities, or constant self-criticism, the brain treats that as a always on. And that is where burnout starts. And here is one of the most important points. If your mind repeatedly signals danger, urgency, or I can't fall behind, your physiology follows that. And over time, elevated stress signal changes the way key brain region operate. The amygdala, which is the helmet-shaped brain part, that becomes more reactive. It flags more things as threats. The prefrontal cortex, which is another part of your brain, which handles planning, decision making, impulse control, and perspective, get less effective when you are under stress. And that means you can logically know what you should do, but still feel unable to do it. And the hippocampus, which is another part of your brain that involves in memory and context, and that can also become less efficient, which contribute to brain fog. So if you feel like your brain is not working like before, it is not imaginary. It is a known pattern under chronic stress. And now let's talk about the cortisol rhythm, because this matters for your recovery. Most people have a natural cortisol rise in the morning, and that helps wake up and mobilize energy. And then the cortisol gradually declines through the day, reaching a low point at night so you can sleep deeply and peacefully. When you are burnt out, that rhythm can get disturbed. Some people get a high nighttime cortisol pattern that look like tired all the day when suddenly alert at night, racing thought at bedtime, light sleep, waking up at 3 a.m. Other experiences the flattened pattern where they never feel fully energized and motivation feel muted for them. So the goal is not force cortisol down at all the time. The goal is to restore a healthy rhythm and regain nervous system flexibility. So how do you do that practically? I want to give you a simple framework that works with neuroscience instead of fighting it. Think of burnout recovery as 3 phases. Phase 1 is downshift the alarm system. Phase 2 is rebuild energy and cognitive capacity. Phase 3 is prevent relapse with better boundaries and pacing. Let's go through a protocol you can start today. Step 1. Give your brain a safety cue fast. When your nervous system is activated, your body needs proof that you are safe before your mind can talk it down. And here is a quick method you can do anywhere and it's surprisingly effective. Take a slow inhale through a nose for about 4 seconds. Then exhale longer than you inhale, about 6 to 8 seconds. Do that for 5 cycles. Longer exhale binds the vagus nerves towards parasympathetic activity. It is a physiological way of telling the brain you can come out of fight or flight. If you do nothing else, do this before meal, before sleep, and before a stressful conversation. Step number 2. Stop stacking stress right after waking. The first hour of your day is a powerful signal to your cortisol rhythm. If you wake up and immediately check messages, jump into conflict, or flood your brain with urgency, you are training your system to spike early and stay elevated. Instead, try a morning sequence. Within the first hour, get outdoor light into your eye for a few minutes. You do not need a perfect routine, just get light exposure. And then add gentle movement, a short walk that is enough. If you can't walk, do slow mobility, stretching, or a few minutes of easy body weight movement. Light of movement, anchor, light plus movement anchor circadian signal and support a healthier cortisol curve. Now step number 3. Use stress completion in the body. A lot of burnout is incomplete stress. That means the mind kept pushing through while the body never got to discharge the activation. And that's why the people can take a vacation and still feel tense and burnout. So you need a stress completion, not just rest. Stress completion can be a brisk walk, shaking out your arm and legs for 1 minute, or a short run, a dance break, or even a few rounds of stair climbing. You are giving your brain evidence that the action cycle is finished. Do this once a day, especially if you have been sitting under pressure. Step 4. Stabilize blood sugar to stabilize cortisol swing. This is not about the dieting, this is about the brain stability. When the blood sugar drops sharply, the body can respond with a stress hormone to mobilize energy, and that can feel like anxiety, irritability, and craving. So your burnout support plan should include simple nutritional structure. Try to eat a protein forward breakfast, or at least protein early in the day. combine carbs with the protein and fiber rather than carbs alone. And avoid large caffeine dosage on an empty stomach. If coffee helps you, keep it. Just do not use it as a substitute for sleep and food because that pushes the stress system more harder. Now step number 5. Create a shutdown ritual at night. A brain in burnout often struggles to transition. It is not that you do not want to rest. It is that your nervous system does not believe it is allowed to. So you need a consistent off ramp. Pick a 15-minute window that signals closure. It can be dim light. Put your phone away from your bedroom. Take a warm shower just before bed. Do the long exhale breathing and write down 3 things. What is done, what can wait, and the first next step tomorrow. That last part is a cognitive unload. It reduces rumination because the brain is not trying to keep everything in working memory at bedtime. Step 6. Stop measuring your recovery by motivation. This is important. When you are burned out, motivation is unreliable. It is not a moral signal, it is a nervous system signal. Your job is not to wait until you feel inspired. Your job is to keep small promises to your nervous system. 2 minutes of breathing, 5 minutes of walking, a real lunch, a message boundary. When you do a small action consistently, the brain learns safety and control again. And that is how the system recalibrates. So my friend, now I want to talk about the hardest part. The cause of burnout. That is often not just a workload. It is a lack of control, lack of recovery, and emotional strength. So you also need one boundary that change. Not 10, just one. And here are some options. Choose the one that would lower your stress the most. 1. No work message in the first hour after waking. 2. A firm stop time for the work most nights. 3. A meeting-free block of time twice a week. 4. Stop saying yes by default. Add a pause. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. Burnout improves when your brain senses agency. Agency is a powerful anti-stress signal. Finally, let's make this measurable because your brain likes clarity. And here are the 3 signs you are moving in the right direction. 1. Your sleep gets slightly deeper even if the total hour do not change. 2. You feel fewer adrenaline surge during the day. And 3. You can focus for long without immediate reacting for distraction. And if you are not seeing the progress, it does not mean you failed. It usually means one of 2 things. Either you are still in the stress source continuously with no real recovery windows, or your body is carrying overload from the sleep depth, under fueling, or unresolved anxiety. In that case, the next step is to reduce load and increase recovery more directly, and if symptoms are intense, consider professional support. Burnout can overlap with the depression, anxiety disorder, thyroid issues, anemia, and sleep disorder. And you deserve the proper evaluation if things feel severe. So you do not think your way out of burnout. You regulate your way out. You teach the nervous system that it's safe to downshift, and you rebuild the capacity slowing like a physical rehab. So Start small, be consistent, and stop judging yourself for a biology driven state. Thank you for watching and see you in the second part.